Alright, today I am going to show you how to make a southern classic called Brunswick Stew. If you wouldn't mind commenting, liking, and subscribing first, it doesn't cost you nothing, helps grow the channel. So after you do all of that, we'll get into the Brunswick Stew. So I was first introduced to it years ago down in Georgia. My wife is from the Savannah area, and it's something that I brought back to New York. I've tried several different recipes, and this is a recipe that I kind of Frankenstein together. Like I took what I liked of each recipe that I've tried and kind of made my own. So I'm going to show you how to make this. Hopefully you give this a try, and once I get the ingredients all prepped and ready to go and laid out, I'm going to bring it back, tell you what you need so you can put a laundry list together, and show you how I bring this all together for a delicious southern classic Brunswick stew. Alright, so we are back and we are going to go over the list of ingredients that you need. And the first thing that you're going to need is a stick of butter, which is hiding. Here we go. You're going to want sweet butter or unsalted, whatever you call it. You're going to need a stick of butter. You're going to need 3 cups of onions. I use white onions. You can use whatever onions you want, but for my recipe, I use white. You could use Vidalia, you could use sweet, you could use yellow onions. You're going to need a half a teaspoon of salt and pepper to start with. One thing I will say is when you're making a stew like this, you want to season throughout the whole process. You don't want to do it all at once and try and play catch up. So every time you add an ingredient, you want to add your seasonings to it to build that complex flavor that you're looking for. You're also going to need 6 cloves of garlic. I chop mine for this recipe. I've tried using crushed garlic. You'll see why when I get going, why it's not going to work. The crushed garlic tends to burn the way you have to do it, so I use minced garlic. I mince that myself. You can use it out of a jar if you want, but just make sure you get the onion or the garlic in the water, not in the oil if you do that. We're going to use some red pepper flakes for a little bit of heat. We are going to use 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste. I use the CENTO. Then the other thing we're going to use is we're going to use 2 of the chicken broth. So you need 8 cups total. Each one of these is 4. I recommend you use the regular non-low sodium. So I'm going to have to add a little extra salt. Unfortunately, this is all they had on the shelf when I went today. And then you're going to use 3 to 4 cups of chopped yellow potatoes, or preferably Yukon Gold if they have them. So this is about 1.5 pounds of potatoes, and just kind of cube them up, kind of make them uniform. Same thing with the onions, so everything kind of matches. And then we're going to use 2 cans, or my store has the one big one of the Rotel. You can use the original, the mild, or the hot, however spicy you want to make it. And then we got 2 bay leaves and 4 to 6 sprigs of fresh thyme. This came out of my garden, so this is fresh. 1 rotisserie chicken, and actually smoked 6 boneless pork loin chops. Yeah, there you go. They're probably about that thick, and they're probably, I don't know, maybe about that big around. So I smoked those. So I just wanted to cut in real quick just to show you, oh, these juicy smoked pork chops that just came off the smoker. You're going to use a half of a cup, and then more to flavor. Use half a cup to start out with of some barbecue sauce. So I've tried it with a few different barbecue sauces. This Johnny Harris sauce. There's 3 different Johnny Harris sauces. There's this hickory smoked one. There's the mesquite, I believe it is, and then there's the Carolina Gold. 2 of them are phenomenal. The Carolina Gold is awesome. We use that a lot. This is the one that I prefer to use when I make my Brunswick stew. However, there's another product that we get our hands on up here in New York, and we've ordered it, is the Iowa Steakhouse barbecue sauce. Now, this isn't the one I use, the spicy peach bourbon. I mean, you probably could use this one, but I just want to show like what it looks like and the brand. So they have a southern style barbecue that it's not as good as this one, but it's still pretty dang good. So you can either get your hands on this. This you can order, I believe you can get this on Amazon actually. You can order this, and this you actually might be able to order online too. Now I know the restaurant itself went out of business, but they still make the barbecue sauce. So you can still get your hands on this in some of the stores down there in Savannah, and it might be in other areas of Georgia too. But I just know, you know, when we're in Savannah, we pick a whole bunch of this up and bring it home with us. We're gonna need some Worcestershire sauce, and once everything comes together and we get it cooked, the last thing you're gonna need is some apple cider vinegar, which I don't have out here right now, but you will need some apple cider vinegar to finish it off. All right, we got our pot on medium. We got our stick of unsalted butter going in there. We got our woolly bully put on our microphone, so hopefully it's not picking up the sound from the vent. We're gonna find out. I probably should have tested it out, but maybe you'll get bad quality on this one. I don't know, but I haven't been using the vent on my last couple cooking videos, and I've been smoking out the house because of the bad quality audio, but hopefully this is gonna fix the problem. So we got that going. 3 cups of onions, and you can use more, you can use less. Not everybody likes onions. What I will tell you is these pretty much do disappear into the stew. So, you know, if you want a little bit of a snap of an onion, then go ahead and leave them a little bit bigger, but I like to do them smaller so they kind of disappear into it. Salt and your pepper put in there. We're gonna get these sweated down, and then we're gonna bring it back for the next step. Okay, so now we got the onions cooked down till they're soft. You kind of want to sweat them. You don't want them translucent, you don't want them brown, you just want to soften them up in the butter. Now the next step is going to be to add the garlic to it and the tomato paste to it. And what we're gonna do next kind of goes fast. All right, so what you're gonna do now, you're gonna get your 6 cloves of minced garlic. You're gonna get this in there, okay? Leave that on top, don't stir that in yet, let it sit on there because you don't want that to start burning. This is why you don't want to use crushed garlic, because crushed garlic just burns right away, right? And the trick to get stuff to where it's a good warm heat but not burned your mouth, need milk, don't want to eat, is you want to cook the peppers at the beginning so it gets infused with everything. When you add it towards the end, that's when it just gets overwhelmingly spicy. All we're gonna do is we're gonna get this going, get it up to like medium low, and I'm just gonna cook this for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, just till it's fragrant. You can smell the garlic. Like your house should already be smelling delicious just from the onion itself, sweating down like that. But now you're gonna go ahead and do this until you get that hit of garlic to your nose, about 30 seconds. So we're gonna get this mixed together for the 3 minutes here, get this darkened up, and then we'll bring it back, show you the next step. All right, we are back. So now we've been stirring this for about 3 minutes or so. You can see it's darkened in color a little bit. All the garlic, onion, and everything, the butter has all been incorporated. You can see it's starting to stick to the pot just a little bit. You don't want it to burn, but once it starts to kind of stick to the pot on the bottom, that's how you know that you are ready for the chicken broth. Now, the chicken broth is going to kind of act like wine. I mean, you don't put it in the refrigerator, but it's been sitting in the pantry, so it's obviously colder than the pot. So what that's going to do is deglaze what we just did on the bottom of this. Swanson's chicken broth. Put in here. So now just kind of mix this up. 2 bay leaves. 4 to 6 sprigs of thyme. That you're actually going to fish that out. You don't serve it with that in there. So as you're stirring it, when you're done, you're going to start pulling that out as you see it. Potatoes. Cube those up good. Get those bad boys in there. This is going to kind of act as your starch. Beans, like I said, and the corn. So, yeah, maybe about that much. So, 6, probably most of the bag in there. I mean, we can use more if you want, but I'm using a lot of extra meat to thicken it up. All right, sorry about that. My camera decided to get too hot and turn off. So, where were we? Oh yeah, that's right, making Brunswick stew. So, the last thing that we have to put in there is our whole can, juice and all, of our Rotel. Now you're gonna turn this on like medium high, and you're gonna bring all this to a boil. I am going to turn my camera off to cool off a little bit while this is happening, and then we will bring you back for the next step. Alright, so we've had this simmering now, so I forgot to tell you before we went away that what you want to do is once you add your ingredients to this, you bring it to a boil. Make sure you stir it kind of consistently so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Then you turn it down to a simmer, and then you simmer it for 20 minutes to about a half hour. This has been going about a half hour. Just remember, the bigger you cut your potatoes, the longer it's going to have to simmer. So once your potatoes start to get tender, not completely done, but tender, then we move on to the next step. So what we're going to do now is all of this delicious meat. This is your rotisserie chicken and your smoked pork. The pork and the chicken, I send it through a food processor. So now we got our meat and everything mixed into there. That's starting to look like that. Now it's time to put in our barbecue sauce and our Worcestershire sauce. The Worcestershire, you only want about a teaspoon of that in here. So I would start with half a cup just to kind of get the flavor, the profile, see how you like it. There's two things you got to do to make this authentic. You got to use the right kind of barbecue sauce. You have to use some smoked meat so you get that smoked flavor in there. We're going to get the barbecue, a little bit more barbecue sauce in there. And we are going to let this simmer for a little bit uncovered till it thickens. And then once that's done, we're going to bring it back, show you the last step, and we're going to try it. Okay, so I thought I was recording, turns out took a photo. So this had simmered for about 20 minutes, about a half an hour after I put the barbecue sauce in. The last thing you're going to want to do after you turn it off is you're going to want to put in a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of apple cider vinegar. Mix that in there. Let this sit for at least 20 minutes or so to come together, and then it will be ready to serve. Now, it is better after it kind of cools off and then you kind of reheat it so it has a chance to all come together. That's why you kind of want to make it ahead of time. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that, like with the barbecue sauce that I talked about, like you can use Kraft, you could use Sweet Baby Ray's, you know, whatever you want. It's just, it'll be good, but it's just not going to be right. So like if you like that sweeter, maybe you don't like the southern vinegary kind of flavor, then go ahead and try one of those. But the apple cider vinegar along with the Johnny Harris barbecue sauce is honestly what makes this like authentic tasting southern dish. So we are going to give this a mix because I put the vinegar in there and then I looked at the camera and realized it wasn't recording, that all it did was take a photo, so yay for me. All right, let's see. There we go. Now we got some lima beans and some corn. That was that little extra little splash of barbecue sauce and the salt. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit, completely cool off, throw this in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow afternoon we're going to get this warmed back up and it's going to be even better, I promise you. So if you liked what you've seen, hopefully you give it a thumbs up, comment, let me know if you tried it, if you like it. And yeah, appreciate you watching. Hopefully you give this one a try. Thanks for watching.